Trump did on the with the tariff surgery. I had to do some big surgery on the computer there. I had left a lot of videos on the desktop, a lot, and also was running out of disk space, and as well as having rain heavy hard, probably with the rain fade. I don't know. It was maybe a combination, maybe just the data running out of data, but that was pretty bad. So you know you live and learn. You live and learn. This is life. Such is life. Now we've got going to get straight into it. Of course, we've got an amazing show. So let me know if the audio and video is good this time. And of course, we've got an amazing show with the Grays currency, one of the premium projects on Pulse Chain, without a doubt. Launched about a year and 6 months ago, something like that. And of course, by Hayden, they're a pretty awesome job, and has been really spurred on a lot of these printer tokens and things like that that we've seen come to the planet of Pulse Chain, which has been pretty awesome. So it's going to be a lot of fun to get into that. We got Wookie says take two. Yep. So folks, good to see Brian, our community leader, announced there. Good to see Hedgehog in the chat there as well. Computer running better. Well, I hope so. Let me know in the chat there. That's always the place to go. Wookie says disk space 100%, but I also have my desktop was covered with videos, so it's just the way it goes sometimes. Unfortunately, that is just what happens when you're trying to stream sometimes, and you don't keep your disk space clear. Now we've got obviously our Superman's Crypto Gems. Definitely sign up to that today. That is links in there. We've got a free alpha list. It is free, and it's got some of the very best protocols on Pulse Chain that we've identified. So definitely check that out as well. And hopefully that goes very smooth there. We got Wookie in the house as well. Hi, humans. Good to see you, Wookie. Yeah. Hopefully, well, obviously things are going well, the video and the audio, because no one's making a mention. There. Now, big shout out over on Rumble. Big shout out to you over there. Hope you guys are doing well also. And I'm just going to quickly repost this on X because that will be live fed now. And so we're going to repost that. Make sure you get out there too and repost this video live so that people get to hear about it as we're going through the stream. Pretty cool. Who else there? Brian says no lagging and clear audio. That's it. That's the spirit. Now, Brian's one of our two community leaders. He does an amazing job. Big shout out there. That is what I want to hear. Now, we're going to get into it. The Grays currency, PTGC. It is one of the best projects on Pulse Chain. Has been for a long time. It's had a bit of a retrace recently during the market, of course, and now is back on the ascendancy. And it's got some big influences supporting it. It's got a MoonKing, one of the biggest influences on Pulse Chain. And it's also got the Prairie Banana, who's kind of the king chef there. He is a master at this protocol, and we're going to be talking about him coming up as well. So the Prairie Banana, big shout out to him. I have followed him for a long time, and he is really amazing. He gives you lots of different tactics, all the little all the inside outs. He knows the PTC, the Grays, super duper well. And you guys, I'm going to post a link to him to join and follow him a bit later. So check that out. But in the meantime, I think that maybe my first stream, I was kidnapped by aliens. So maybe that was the case. Maybe I got kidnapped. You could see me fuzzy there. Maybe there was a flipping alien rays and interference. That could have been the problem that I had. Maybe I was being under attack. In fact, I could be under attack now. Oh no, I'm getting under attack. Oh, wow, I got rescued. Oh, thank goodness for that. That was huge. That was such a bad situation there. I got out of trouble, though. The Grays currency, it was pretty crazy. The aliens were attacking. So, lucky to survive that. So here we are. We got the aliens, the Grays, and I said to them, hey, look, I'll talk about you on YouTube. Just don't kidnap me. And they said, okay, we'll do that for you. And I thought, that's great. Thank you so much. And so here we are. We've got the Grays currency chart here, the PTGC. I'm going to post this in the chat there as well, and you can check it out. So if you're watching on X or Rumble or on YouTube, check this out right now. This is pretty awesome. And this is PTGC the Grays, one of the very best projects on the old Pulse Chain there. Have we got any comments about my kidnapping? Have we got any comments? I don't know. Let's see. Let's see there. We got, oh boy. Yeah, Wookie, you're pretty worried about me, but I'm okay. I'm okay there. I'm okay. I'm fine. All right, let's get into it. This is the the chart there for the Grades currency. So definitely check that out. Now you can see this chart. This is the weekly chart for the Grades currency, and it is doing very well indeed. You can see it's had a little bounce off. Now, obviously, having a huge run up, and it's got a very committed community with a big DAO as well. It is pretty well done. And of course, they got all the way up to top here at a 1300th of a 1.3, no, actually 1300th of a penny, and it came all the way back down here to what's that, 00017, and has come back there quite a bit off the top. But man, look at that run up. That run up there is huge. Just that run there, and of course the run from the bottom in the first week all the way up, it's been spectacular. I mean, just from this run back here, it was up 7,400%, and that's over a good period of time. And of course, people are earning while they're holding this token, right? They're locking and staking, doing very well, and it's still up at the moment. 1,372% from that point, just back there, which was our baseline July there. Pretty crazy. And of course, if you got in super early, incredible results there for you as well. So if we just take it from the end of the first week there, I mean, it went up massive. What's that? 100, almost a million% there from the first week. Pretty amazing results there. So as you can see, it's been one of easily the very best performers on Pulse Chain, and doing very well. Now, it did have a bit of a retrace over the last sort of 2 months. Came down from this 1,300th of a penny. Came down, about 87%. So obviously dramatic decrease there. But obviously a lot of the market's been pulling back the last couple of months, right? We've seen that on multiple ecosystems and blockchains. We're still down 80% at the moment, but we're having a nice bounce back in the PTGC chart there, the Gray's currency. So sometimes I get caught up on the old lingo there, but that's just the way it goes. Up 56%, 55, 56% at the moment. So a really nice gain there in the last week as well. So kind of cool. And, it's got some good price targets there. In fact, hopefully I've still got those on the chart here. But yeah, we've got some cool price charts here. We've got the good support here at 0001800. And, we've got some good nice marks converging here with all these angular lines as well as the horizontals. So that's all looking pretty good. You can sort of see they're all sort of honing in on this 0003000 mark, which seems to be a very important level for the Grades currency. And that's just above us, right? That's just above us, not far away. So it's pretty important. And we can see kind of the next target there, 29 to 33,000, seems to be a pretty good zone. The next one after that, 5,700 on the horizontal. And then we get back up to the all-time high there as well on the next move. And this is looking very good. Now, the cool thing about this being lower is that a lot more of the tokens being burned, and a lot more tokens are being given out. And also, basically, the ratio to pulse has come down a lot too. And so that has been pretty beneficial. So let's have a look at the ratio to pulse on the old Grades currency. You can see, obviously, it's done spectacular. It started off at just 1/20th of a pulse. So at the beginning of the first week, you could get 1/20th. That's October 23, 1/20th of a pulse. And then it rallied all the way up, and it really stirred the pot there when it basically got 1-to-1. And that was in August 24, 1-to-1 ratio to pulse. And then it just broke away. Look at that. Absolutely outstanding. Got all the way up to 22.68 pulse per one a PTGC token. That's PGC token, just to make that clear. The old accent there getting in the way. And then, of course, it came all the way back down on that pullback, down to 7.87, but ran still 7.87. That's amazing. And now it's back up to 12.38 with a high this week of 13.4 so far. Keep a lookout for this because this is going to be incredible. So imagine the ratio to pulse going up when pulse goes on an ascendancy, and of course the price of pulse going up, you're going to get X's on X's, and it's going to be massive gains there. The upward side, once you get back to all-time high, I think the Prairie said that it was something like 80% plus gains on what the previous high would have been in the US dollar price. So that's huge there as well. And meanwhile, everyone's earning yield. If you're staking or locking in coins, you're earning yield there is all the time as you're doing it. So pretty cool. As we can see, up 21% in the last 24 hours. So things are really on the move there for the Grades currency. Now let's look at some of the metrics. 78.4 million market cap. We've got the price at 0.00267. We've got the liquidity at $1 million, and it does have a massive liquidity web. Not sure what the total amount is at the moment, but PTC is one of the biggest out there on Pulse Chain. and is a big player, right? So the liquidity is pretty large. I had seen numbers up to 40 million back in the day. I think it was February. Obviously, things have come down since then, but it still must be pretty large with liquidity we have there. We got $278,000 in volume on this particular pair. There's many pairs for PTGC. This is the Pulse pair, the main one that I found, and that's kind of where we are. So pretty cool. Now, it's got a huge community. Now, we've got 3,224 likes there, so let's smash the likes myself. If you're on this chart too, give it a smash and smash the likes there. Pretty cool. And, of course, it's got a nice little breakdown. The Grace currency is the first DAO on Pulse Chain, So it broke ground about a year and a half ago. And, yeah, pretty awesome stuff since then, right? You can see it in the chart. PTGC has a unique LP web structure that utilizes the AMA bots on Pulse Chain. So that's a very key part of this. By utilizing these, PTGC can pay out high APRs, that's annual percentage return, and remain highly deflationary. PTGC is a smart contract that was designed to constantly grow the burnt LP, grow the treasury, and buy and burn its supply with every transaction. So multiple bullish fundamentals there. Burnt the LP, grow the treasury, and buy and burn its supply with every transaction. And man, you can see in the chart, people got on board. People got on board with this, and that was pretty exciting. Diamond says, yeah, pump it, absolutely. And the Rockets as well says, Wookie, you are onto it. Just say the grace. Now, if I say the grace, it might come back for me. All right, so kind of cool. All right, so that's kind of where we are with the token numbers there on the Pulse chain. Now, to the website, we got a really cool layout here on the website. Obviously, that cool video that I played, which you can see on the front here, comes out of the darkness here. So it's got wonderful branding, and with the PTGC Grace currency there in the alien's hand. So I love that. Very, very cool. And then just to get you at the end, it's got the glow eyes come out there. And of course, I was body snatched, so I know what that's like, right? So pretty cool. Now it's got the contract there. You can get the contract details. It's obviously got details about the Grace currency itself, and it's got an explainer video there as well. Explained, so you can check that out also on the website there. Now it does have a 5% tax. So where's the 5% tax on a buy, sell, and transfer? Don't get tricked out by the transfer if you're thinking about transferring it to wallets. So buy, sell, and transfer. Now 0.5% goes to burn, 0.5% goes to liquidity. So fattening up that liquidity web. 2% goes to the DAO. DAO's obviously the first DAO on Pulse Chain, a very important aspect of this protocol. It's got holder and staker reflections. So you get 1% just sitting there by holding it. Holder and staker reflections. And then, of course, you've also got staker reflections, 1%. So obviously that is amazing there if you're going to be locking or staking, right? So it's got a really, really nice. You just sit back and enjoy the show while, got these big volumes coming through here on the weekly. I mean, the best week was this week here back in February, and the volumes were mega huge, right? So you had the volumes as high as 4.5 million just on this pair alone. So pretty exciting at the moment. Last week, the volume was about 750,000. Obviously, Pulse Chain having a big pullback during this time, and we started a new week there and already at over 250,000, and we've got the chart starting to pump again. Very, very exciting stuff here. So that's kind of the liquidity stuff there. Obviously, there's lots of social media stuff there too. But we're going to jump forward here and get to the staking. Obviously, if you buy the PTGC, you can stake it. Easily stake PTGC there for high APR with low risk. So there we go. And we've got the total PTGC token staked. That's the entire ecosystem is 221 billion. So 221 billion PTGC stake there. Total TGC locked there is 131.8 billion. TGC is locked. Now, obviously, locking has a whole different tiers for the longer you lock. And, of course, it also has a penalty. The longer you lock, the less penalty you get out. I think it starts off at about 55%, if I remember rightly. And if you go out max period, which I can't remember if it's 5 or 10 years, I think it might be something like that, is like 95%. 5%. So you get that's only 95% of your tokens you get back. So you're accumulating a ton of rewards, but there is a penalty fee in there, or at least a contribution to the rest of the community, let's say. Now, total amount earned there, it's got that as well. You can connect your wallet, obviously, to see this. Earn from holding. So if you connect your wallet, you'll be able to see all this stuff as well. Earn from staking, earn from locking. Now, if you want to find out more about locking, you definitely want to watch the Prairie, and you also want to get into the Telegram group as well. The Telegram group has about 3,000 members, so it's a really large group, and they're doing a great job. But even better than that, this community has got even bigger, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So you can actually see all your details if you're holding the tokens. you've got the token staked or locked, you can see that here. And of course, there are tips and tricks to doing that. And typically, a ladder is always a good way of going. If you're going to lock tokens over multiple years, typically a ladder is a good way to go. And then you're going to have different penalties on the exit of that. But of course, you're going to be accumulating all that time as well. So just remember that. So it's kind of cool. Claimable PTC earned from locking, claimable from staking. So you can obviously withdraw it and claim it. Stake withdrawal will result in a 1% fee back to all other stakers. Just remember that if you're doing this staking amount. You can earn more reflection rewards by locking your stake tokens, delay gratification, and provide confidence to other buyers by locking your stake tokens here. And this is kind of where the Prairie comes in, because he's pretty much the man on this topic. He does amazing stuff here with the Prairie banana, and I've watched him for a long time at different stages, and he's amazing at this. So he's just got a video he put out recently on PTGC UFO Explained. So if you want to get into the details and get into the tactics, find out all the features and benefits, he's the man to follow. And I'm going to post the link to him in the chat there, because he's really well worth following there if you were going to get into this. So let me post this one here as well. Now, hopefully one of the moderators will push this over onto maybe X or Rumble. That'd be really appreciated if you guys can do that. So that is the link there, looking pretty awesome. Good to see Hex Vader in house there. Hey, gang, good to see you. Big shout out. And definitely check out the Prairie Banana, absolutely pivotal player in the PTC and UFO ecosystem. And of course, I always talk about the PTC being the parent and the UFO being kind of the child sort of relationship there. Pretty impressive. So that's kind of what you got there. Now, obviously, you can stake the tokens and earn yield while the price does some amazing magic. And of course, you also got the DAO. Of course, the first DAO on Pulse Chain, a very powerful protocol. And of course, the Grays DAO, they're sitting at 4.7 billion Pulse, which I think's about 110,000 US dollars or something like that. I think it has been much higher, like up 400,000. So it's been pretty amazing there. Have your say in the future of the Grays currency, and people can make proposals in there, right? So there's active proposals, succeeded proposals, and a lot of it deals with doing liquidity and stuff like that. You can see buy an LP add with RH tokens, or buy and burn strategic time, and they've got tons of these coming out nonstop for votes. So it's a very active DAO, very active community, I would say despite recent pullback in the chart, a very committed community, and that's really incredible in crypto these days, apparently. So that's kind of cool. They also have a game. The game that you can play as well is a decentralized automated raffle that pays winners rewards in PTC, a very liquid pulse-backed token, and you can see how that works. So it's got a game there. I don't know if it's on at the moment, but that game is there as well. It's had quite a few recent winners in there as well, winning 20,000 PTC and things like that. But let's have a look at the PTC statistics on this as well. So it's going to take a second to pop up there. But you can already see that the total amount of burned at the moment of the total supply is 12%. So it's about $10.5 million. Pretty crazy, right? And projected over the next 6 months is about 16% extra burn. That's about $14 million worth. So a huge number of tokens going to be burned there. 53 billion, already 40 billion have been burned so far. So this protocol is operating as intended. We've obviously got a different supply distribution here. So we've got the staked amount here as well, sitting at 27%. We've got the amount held at 20% there. We've got the amount burned at 12%. And we've got the staked and locked amount sitting at just under 40% at the moment. And of course, liquidity pool sitting there with a little slither as well, a couple of percentage points, which is pretty cool. So that is some of the key metrics there. Looking at the pool info, we got the market cap sitting about $77 million at the moment. And here's the kicker. This is one of the big pieces of news. So yeah, there's 3,000 in Telegram, but there's 14,000 holders now. They have just hit that milestone, which is amazing. That is definitely a really significantly sized community on Pulse Chain, and well done to them. And out of the 14,000 holders, there are 3,144 stakers. So there's a lot of commitment to this protocol, and that's very cool. And once again, I'm going to cut it back to the Prairie Banana. He gives lots of cool things and insights about how to invest in here, how to stay in there, get the rewards, and enjoy the expected mad gains to the upside, especially when Pulse Chain starts to really take off. So as you can see, this is one of the big communities in Pulse Chain, really successful and with a great product there. So big shout out to the founder, Hayden, out there doing an amazing job. So pretty awesome. And he looked at tons and tons of projects to make sure he could create something that was really powerful for an investment vehicle on Pulse Chain. And we love developers like that. So hats off to that. That's pretty exciting. Now, obviously, they've also got the UFO. I think have I covered all those? I think I have. Oh no, total supply. So we're sitting at total value locked 34.7 million. Remember, market cap is 77 million. Circulating supply 293 billion. The circulating supply, stake supply 221 billion, and then the burn supply there is sitting at 40 billion. So it gives you some of the key metrics there. Very, very cool. Now, there's also the child token, as I call it. The UFO is just a way for me to explain it, really. And that is the UFO token. And this has been another super success on Pulse Chain. It stands as a pivotal amplifier within the PTGC ecosystem and strategically engineered to foster unity between Richard Heart ecosystem and the Grays currency. I love that connection. Very, very well thought out stuff. This designed with precision, UFO token operates as a catalyst, intensifying bot activity and a token volume for both its token and the PTGC. So a real amplifier token here, increasing that liquidity web and bot activity. Very, very cool. Central to its architecture is a 6% buy and sell fee, so 1 percentage point higher than the PTC version. Meticulously structured to deliver rewards to holders, LP providers, and PTC enthusiasts alike, leveraging the same cutting-edge technology utilized to capture fees within PTC. UFO token extends its reach, motivating holders of rich RH tokens to pair them with UFO, fattening up that web LP. This symbiotic relationship not only expands our network, but also amplifies our volume and culminates in greater rewards for all stakers. And it's been doing very, very well indeed. You can see the supply there sitting just under 1 trillion there. And you got that buy and sell fee. Doesn't have a transfer fee there from the looks of it. So holding UFO token, users can simply hold a UFO token in their wallets to participate in the ecosystem. Holders of UFO token automatically receive their proportional share of the 1%. It's very important to know. And of course, this reward paid in UFO tokens is deposited directly into their wallets without needing to stake or any additional processes. So this is, where it kind of led the way on the DAO on Pulse Chain. Also, a spurning or the beginning or the genesis of all these printer tokens we have today. So it's done pretty cool like that. Now you can see the allocation of the token. It rewarded to UFO LP providers is 3%. So fees are distribution of 3%. And of course rewarded to UFO LP providers in the following pool rewards in paid in Pulse, which is PulseX V2. And that is all these different pools here are participatory there, including UFO Pulse, etc. And of course, the rewards to holders of the UFO token themselves get 1%, utilized to buy and burn is 1%, and used to buy and burn PTC is 1%. So they obviously that makes up 6%, which is the tax, the buy and sell tax. Very cool. Now, providing liquidity with UFO, users have the option to provide liquidity using UFO token paired with any of the 7 listed tokens. When interacting directly with PulseX, a 6% fee is imposed both during the LP provisioning and removing, so take note of that. However, users can utilize the provided DApp on the PTGC website to provide LP, bypassing the 6% fees entirely. So that's very fundamental if you're going to do LP providing them. LP providers via the DApp also earn their share of the 3% rewards. These rewards are paid in Pulse, so very nice. In addition to, I guess, the standard fees. So nice on that one. All right, so that is that. And of course, they also have their own shop with Grays gear. So these guys have got all the branding, and it is pretty cool. So you can get a bit of everything there. It is very, very nice. And they've got even golf from looks at it. Wookie, they got something for golf. They got something for you. So that's pretty cool for the PTGC crew there. So they got a full store there with all the branding. Very, very nice indeed. So you can check that out as well. They've got 2 pages of that. They got a second page also. And just to show you that, like, I'm looking at the single page, there it is, and got hoodies and everything else, so check that out as well. All right, they got the home and living and women, men's accessories, kids. They got that all there on the old PTC. So that is kind of an overview of that. Now, if you want to get to the next level down, you got to go watch the Perry Banana because he is amazing at this. And he knows it all. And you got to get in there and get into Telegram too. Telegram has a lot of information about locking and the different tiers of locking, like 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. The let's say the penalties that you have once you come out there, because you accumulate a big bag, you got to pay a little bit of back to the ecosystem again. So check that all out with the details there with Perry. He's also got a lot of strategies and tactics as well. So big shout out to him. And you watch the show and you're going, this guy knows his stuff. So that's pretty cool. Now the other one big thing is we've had MoonKing, one of the top biggest influencers in the Pulse Chain community. And he's a big PTC guy, right? So recently he pulled out a PDI and the original teddy bear from James Maria, and now he is big on PTC on Pulse Chain. And of course, he says has been undefeated this bull market. And so he's posted a chart here with the price at 0.002,700, and he's got this 2 green lines here called the walls of gains. So he's feeling very bullish indeed about PTGC there. And of course, he's got a huge following. He's got 109,000 followers on X. So a very big influencer here on Pulse Chain. So pretty amazing. That's probably almost twice as much as our biggest YouTuber / X poster, which is the Crypto Coffee. So pretty big influence there, and probably 3 times the size of maybe 2.5, 3 times the size of Somni out there, and some of the other big influencers like KDP and stuff like that on the X platform. So doing very well in there. So we've been talking about this. So a couple of days ago we did a video on the Finvestor printer ecosystem. We've done some videos on Emmet. I think we covered Emmet as well. Emmet Farm being winning that category, won the best farm category, and we've also covered here the PGCC. And so that sort of completes this suite of coverage because we've got a big vote on at the moment, right? Which top performing token has the most active community on Pulse Chain? Now, obviously, there's more than 3 tokens that are pretty top, and there's also a lot of very active communities. But these are the ones that have made the list. They've sort of jumped up from other polls we've done, and they've now made the list from different categories to be a cross-category poll. And so here we've got the Emmet Farm Chorus. We've got the PTC Pulse PTC there, the founder of that, which is Hayden. And of course, that sort of kicks off from the DAO, spearing on sort of the beginning of the printer token revolution. And then we've got kind of the maturity there with the Finvestor OG Web Chef with the full-on printer airdrops to your wallet ecosystem. So we've got 3 key categories there: farms, DAOs, and printers. And this is the poll at the moment. It's on for 3 days. And you guys have got to get your votes in. We've got 290 votes, almost 1,400 views on this. So you've got to get into that and check it out. So go vote today if you haven't already, and also share it around to your communities who is going to win this vote. Now, we're halfway through almost, I think. So it's anybody's move. We have often seen some late moves. Maybe we're going to see PTC do a big late move on this vote. Maybe we're going to see the Emmet Farm community also, which is growing pretty fast actually, is going to get involved with this as well. It is a bit of a David and Goliath between Emmet Farm and PTC in the Finvestor ecosystems. But let's see what happens there. You just never know. It could be pretty exciting to see that. Sometimes, David and Goliath could play out. We will see. And who has got the most active. Now, after we've gone through this poll, which is going to end, I think, tomorrow, I'm going to give the results out tomorrow's live stream. And tomorrow's live stream, you guys know, I'm actually moving on to cover the #1 GameFi on Pulse Chain, the #1 metaverse on Pulse Chain. In fact, it's the only metaverse on Pulse Chain, and the #1 NFT market, and that's the Mafia game. I'm going to be doing that show tomorrow with Cold DeFi. And so that's going to be really, really fun to have that collab going tomorrow. He's doing a wonderful job as the PR man for Jacob, of course, running some of the best protocols in the space here. And it's going to be a lot of fun to do that. So you don't want to miss that show tomorrow. The day after, well, I got a little surprise because I'm going to be covering something very dear to Richard Hart's heart there. That is coming up. So don't miss that. That's in 2 days' time. I'll be covering something very dear to Richard Hart's heart. And that's going to be a fun show. So we're bringing a lot of cool new topics. We are really exploring all that Pulse Chain has to offer and bring you some of the best ecosystems, some of the best tokens, some of the best products, some of the best communities. And it's a fun to do it, right? Because this is what we're doing it for. We love it. We love this stuff. And it's going to be a fun ride for sure. So that is it. Go and vote on this one. It's going to be pretty awesome. Big shout out to Craig Pitt as well. Big shout out to you. Morning all. Good to see you, Craig. Always a pleasure to have Craig in the house there. And to the moon, says Wookie, to the moon. I love it. And 14,000 members of PTC The Greys. Isn't that fantastic? So looking really, really good there. All right, so don't forget to get into this vote. It's very important. Hopefully the mods can copy that over to the X and obviously to Rumble. Appreciate that. Big shout out for what you guys do. All right, so 290 votes, 1,400 views, and we're only about a day and a half into a 3-day poll. Who is going to win this? It's going to be fun to see where this all comes to. And if you remember, don't forget to give me a follow over on X there, because I've had to rebuild after some unfair cancelling of my main account. Unfortunately, it's just the way it goes sometimes. Polls are good for feedback, says Wookie. They are as well. Leave your comments, share them to your community, and try and win that vote. That's all I can say. It's funny how that's come up there on the Wookie on the Rumble. It looks a bit weird, doesn't it? All right, so let's get into it. That is some of the cool stuff there. And we're going to get into the markets results. Then we're going to get into Pulse Chain because there's lots of things happening on Pulse Chain, lots. So we're talking about PTGC the Grey. That's kind of an existing project that's moving forward as one of the big projects. But we've also got a couple of new projects launched today from two big influencers, which you don't want to miss out on that. So we're bringing the alpha. We're dropping the alpha here because many of you may not have had the time to see them. So we're going to get into them right now. Before we do, let's see what's happening with the markets, because Trump obviously having a big meeting today at the Oval Office there with the Prime Minister of Israel, and that partnership is growing closer and closer together. They are dealing with multiple issues, of course, and Israel coming back and saying, hey, we're going to lower our tariffs to zero, and we're actually saying we're going to be a model for other countries to follow. So very interesting tell there. You can actually see in a little video on the right here of those two having that meeting in the Oval Office. And man, what is the meetings that? So, Israel coming in as an example of trade and Trump loving that. So that's kind of where he's pushing there. Now, the elephant in this room is that, there's 1.2 trillion in deficits every year to the United States, right? Around about 300 billion of that is to China. And really a lot of this stuff is to deal with China, right? So China is one of the big issues there. There are other big issues like the European Union and other countries like Japan and others. There are different areas there. But really that is the elephant in the room. And of course, Trump at the moment is really reorganizing the world order, right? So he's reorganizing the global world order. Like to say, the last time we saw that happen was back in the 1940s with the Bretton Woods, and that's where we got on the gold standard, right? And the US was pegged to that. They eventually abandoned that, right, back in the 80s. And of course, then because they wanted to print more money, right? So they wanted to abandon that and print more money and get rid of that. Now, that's been a pretty controversial move, of course, moving away for the gold standard. Who knows? Maybe they'll move on to the Bitcoin standard, Bitcoin gold standard there. That could be cool. And so, yeah, we've kind of seen that happen in the 80s with Reagan and that. We saw the Second World Order. America was setting the pace after World War II. Of course, they were the ones that kind of rescued the world, really. And they had high manufacturing, right? How'd they do that? They were able to manufacture a huge military as well. Now, obviously, since the 70s, since we got this new reorganization in the 80s with the Reagan and that, we ended up having moving into free trade, right? The so-called free trade. But what happened? While US was still relatively strong, they still had a lot of manufacturing at the time, right? And the rest of the world was given a bit. You can have a little bit of tariffs, a little bit of creeping tariffs. You can develop, and as long as you're buying from us, and we've got a strong reserve currency. This is kind of the play that's going on, right? And so US was still had a big manufacturing, but then over time, right, the US starts losing manufacturing, and since the 70s, they've lost 7 million out of the 20 million manufacturing jobs, and they've lost a lot of their manufacturing capacity, and now they're number 4 in the world on manufacturing volume, and of course, China is way ahead at number 1, and the US has dropped to number 4. They are missing huge amount of industrial capacity, and yet, sure, you're buying cheaper goods, but on the negative, your wages have been going down. So actually, you're losing out, right? So this is the trick that people don't realize, that, yeah, you're getting cheaper prices from having so-called the best producer, but then you're getting a lot of perverse things happening. You're getting exchange rate manipulation. You're getting dumping of major categories like steel and aluminium. And so you got all these other issues. You got all these other non-trade barriers with quotas and everything else in the mix as well from each and every country. And so the US starts running up this massive deficit year after year, decade after decade. And of course, it's been, I can't remember the exact number, but something like 12 trillion over the last decade, running about 1.2 trillion now, with about 300 billion to China. So this is what Trump's trying to fix up. This is just one area of major strategy, which is tariffs and changing the world order. And of course, if you guys haven't checked out my video on Trump's master plan, this is one of the 3 legs of the 3-legged stool. And of course, this is pretty interesting. So we've got, this is going to be pretty interesting to see this. So what does he have to do? He has to get, last time when he was in power in 2020, he put tariffs on China. Do you remember that? And it had very little impact on prices for aluminum and steel, but it had, China was then ramping up their tariffs, right? And so they were trying to outdo them. And so it was relatively not that effective. And because the rest of the world, China could go through the rest of the world and all sorts of strategies like that. And so they could keep buffering it up, even though Trump had most of the cards, because the US is the big consumer, right? So you've got all this play going on there. Now, what happened? Of course, this time it's different. So this time they're going for all the countries. That's why there's a big fat list. He brought out the list. He added tariffs in there. He also included domestic, direct indirect taxes like GST and VAT taxes and things like that from Europe, Australia, New Zealand, wherever else. And he had these all big lists. He had little islands out in the Pacific, wherever they were. And so it was just basically whatever way you go, China and other countries, you're going to be blocked. You're all going to be suffering the same thing. And so what is he getting out of that? Leverage to redo the world order. I don't know what you want to call it. You call it the MAGA world order, whatever. But he's rejigging all that stuff, and he's going to get that trade deficit down, as well as reorganizing a lot of other things in the world, such as the support for the US as the reserve currency, plus getting investment from a lot of countries into the US, rebuilding that manufacturing. So he's hitting multiple targets, all with getting this leverage. Leverage means that he can negotiate all these contracts with these countries essentially, and just get all the stuff he wants in the basket of goodies: manufacturing, strong US reserve currency, potentially a depreciated reserve currency as well for the US, as long as people are committed to buying all the US goods as well. And so this is the game he's got playing on. And of course, that is all big part of the golden age of America, which is very, very exciting. So that's coming up. So this is the sort of stuff he's doing at the moment. It's just one of those many things that is in the strategy that I put out on Trump. And obviously, he's got to deal with the trade deficit. Now, they do make services, of course, and they're very profitable with many services, but actually services are kind of low yield. A lot of the stuff's low yield. You get your professionals, but you get a lot of low yield services as well, right? So you can have a country which is pretty poor because they've got these low margins on services. So there's two different tiers in there. Now, the other thing, of course, is that he's also got to work on the US budget deficit, right? The federal budget deficit, which is $2 trillion, and they've got $1 trillion in debt. And it's something like predicted, like in 5 to 10 years, that would get up to 30% of the federal budget. That is madness, right? That is madness. And of course, they got $1 trillion in interest costs. And that is because there's 38 billion, $1 trillion worth of debt as well. So the US has got trade deficit issues, it's got federal budget deficit issues, it's got big debt issues, and he's dealing with all that. Not only is he going to fix all that up by reorganizing the world order to strengthen America, because you got Russia, it's China out there. You've also trying to get the fact that you're trying to get the golden age as well. So not only are you dealing with those issues, but you're getting the golden age. So what do you got to do? You got to do tariffs and reorganize the world in your favor. You've got to get your regulations down. That includes Wall Street, Main Street, all these different types of regulations, and of course leverage as well. He's also trying to get the interest rates down. So he put a bit of shot over the bow today on Truth Social, and of course the Fed's meeting, all that sort of stuff. So he's got all these things going on. We want cheap interest rates. We want low inputs into the US economy to help get to the golden age as well. So he's working domestically and on the international stage to get these outcomes, and it's very, very clever. And he's gonna do it. He's got a lot of liberal people on mainstream media, economists, politicians, all saying, "Oh, it's not going to work, can't be done." But it is going to be done. You watch it; it's working very beautiful. He's already got 50 to 60 countries already saying, "We want to negotiate, we want to pull down tariffs, we want to get to free trade," and sort of the idealized world there as well. But he's not going to let that happen so fast, right? So this could take a month or two. We're talking through to May, June potentially. So don't expect too much there. We're going to have some wins early, and then we're going to have some negotiations, because he's always trying to squeeze China with these other countries. And of course, that's why he's got a blanket coverage. So it's a big, big deal there. So it's going to be fun to see this play out. In addition to that, of course, he's running through taxes through the parliament. That just got his first win in the weekend. So that's going through as well. That might be finished by May, June. So I think by the time we get to June, we could see a lot of these key foundations put in place for the golden age of America. And of course, a new world order, the old liberal world order where they had high tariffs and non-tariff barriers versus the US, is pretty much going to be over. And we're entering into the third big era that we've been talking about. So we had the Bretton Woods, then we had the Reagans, and now we've got the Trump world order here coming out. And of course, underpinning on that, though, is freedom. And thank goodness for that. So, and it should bring us security, should bring us more prosperity as well. And the authoritarian states will definitely be depowered in this process as well. So I think it's going to be a fantastic outcome, and I'm looking forward to it, because, hey, look, the West with the progressives were adopting authoritarian, socialist, Marxist, globalist policies, and they wanted to emulate China, for goodness sake. Now, We don't want that. We want freedom. We want what's made the West great, right? Judeo-Christian values as the basis, whether you believe in the resurrection or not. They have founded the greatest society on earth. And so, yeah, prosperity for all, the Protestant work ethic, all that good stuff. And this is kind of where we are, right? We don't want to get that torn down. We saw that torn down by the secular Marxists in the 20th century, and they had the biggest mass murders in history, apart from maybe Genghis Khan. But it was pretty crazy, right? So we're heading in the right direction, and we're going to have a little bit of pain before we get that big gain there as well. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. So the US stock market at the moment, S&P 500 ends lower after wild swings on tariff-led volatility, and we can see the market's actually not too bad after that brutal last couple of days. We've got the Dow Jones there is down 0.9%, 350 points to 37,965, so just below 38,000. Remember, that's the top 30 industrials in the United States. We got the S&P 500 down maybe 0.25%, 12 points to 5,062. And we got the NASDAQ there at actually up. So the NASDAQ with the tech companies actually up a little bit there, 0.1%, 15 points to 15,603. So the NASDAQ actually doing pretty well today there. Now, obviously, we've got a lot of comments in here. Trump reiterated no pause on tariffs. He threatens to raise China tariffs following retaliation. So obviously he raised China's tariffs. China responded with 34% tariffs, just like they did in the last when he was president 45. And of course they kept competing there. But this time Trump's broadened the whole thing to squeeze them out. So we're going to be looking forward to that. And now he's even gone even more alpha. He's gone, I'm going to slap on 50% more. You guys have made the wrong choice here. So he's going to put the real squeeze on them, not just with the threat of 50% more and a tariff war with China, but also with all the agreements he makes with all these other countries. And he's already got 50 or 60 countries coming, for negotiations, many of them begging, of course, as you would. So a lot of countries around the world in the West are very in depressed states. They are in decline. My country's in decline. Many countries, Canada's in decline, UK's in decline, many countries in Europe in decline, Australia's in decline. These guys are weak. They can't afford to stand up and beat their chests against Trump. And of course, remember, the United States is the big consumer. So he's actually holding all the cards for the most part. And China is playing a very tricky game there. And China's got its own problems, right? President Xi, he lost his fourth big general. And we seem to have a rift between President Xi's power, and he recently had a stroke, right? So that made him look really weak. And we've got the military doing their own thing, right? So we've got some pretty problems domestically in China. We've also got China saying they got 3 or 4% GDP, but really it's probably 1% if they're lucky. And so you've got a lot of problems there. They're building down cities that are empty, right? They've got lots of troubles over there. They are doing a lot of great things as well, but they've got a lot of troubles there. And of course, it is an authoritarian state, right? So you have to have permission to do things over there. You got credit scores, which are oppressive. Who needs a credit score, right? Who needs a social score? Who needs that? I mean, that's just oppressive. Why should someone else tell us, what we can do, where we can go, who we can meet, what we can say, what we can think? Screw that. We've got to defend our freedom. And otherwise, you're in basically a form of Nazi Germany or something. No one wants that, right? No one wants that. So anyway, that's kind of where we are. Trump is pushing back on all that, all at the same time. And of course, in a press briefing Monday, Trump reiterated the United States was considering pausing reciprocal tariffs that have wreaked havoc on markets. Early in the session, stocks saw a brief reprieve on unconfirmed reports. U.S. president was considering pausing and sweeping tariffs for 90 days. That is false. That was fake news. And of course, you've got the liberal media just drumming up all the stuff, and you've got the Democrats running all these protests on the streets, right? It's all coordinated. The whole thing's coordinated, right, with the liberal media doing their same thing, right? Because they've lost a lot of power because the Republicans and Trump control the three arms of government, right? So they've got the presidency, they've got the Congress, House, and of course they've also got the Senate, right? So with slim majorities, but they've still got all that. And of course, let's argue they have still slight favorism in the Supreme Court as well. And of course, we've seen, what have we seen from the Democrats? Fake mainstream media stuff. We've seen protests on the streets. We've seen terrible things happening to Tesla trucks. I mean, this is dreadful. And then, of course, we've also seen, federal judges there, state judges all trying to, pretend that they can control the whole United States and act like they're the president. So that's all going to the Supreme Court, all that stuff, right? So that's kind of the sort of things that we're seeing in domestically. But Trump, doing pretty cool. Hexo says, I hope Trump can get me out of my cage soon. Yeah, I hope so too. And I'm loving this alien stuff in the chat, by the way. You guys, big shout out to you. Big shout out to Good God there as well. Big shout out as well. I tagged you in because I know that you're a huge in the community. You're very passionate about PTGC. And man, it's been an amazing project on amazing run. And I know it's going to have a fantastic future on Pulse Chain. All right, so big shout out to the PTC community. All right, let's get into it. So we've got all that stuff happening. Trump, of course, posted on Truth Social after 11 a.m. Eastern time that stated that the United States will impose an additional 50% tariff on Chinese goods. That's what I mentioned earlier. If China does not rescind its 34% tariff by April the 8th there. And of course, that's tomorrow U.S. time. This ultimatum follows China's retaliatory tariffs and other trade practices that Trump has labeled abusive. Yet, in a sign of leeway on tariffs, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Now, remember, Scott Bessent is kind of the guy leading this with another guy, right? So there's two guys running it, and I've talked about that. And Scott Bessent is one of the key ones there. That he was instructed by Trump to open talks on tariffs. The update comes as Reuters report that 50 countries have approached the U.S. to seek negotiations. Now, I understand that number's gone up to 60 or so countries, so pretty cool. Remember that I think there's about 196 countries in the world, somewhere about that. So this gives you some, amounts there. Now, obviously, only so many are significant. You're talking about, Japan, South Korea, EU, China, countries like that. Germany, EU, Germany, I guess, are significant in terms of trade and GDP. President Trump said on Sunday that his new tariffs are the only way to fix major trade deficits with China and European Union. As I said to you, it's about 1.2 trillion in deficit each year, and of course, about 300 million is with 300 billion. Is with China, and of course, that's an area he's trying to address there. And of course, let's see where it goes. He announced last week the implementation of a 10% universal import tax, which came into effect on April the 5th, and adding higher tariffs on major trading partners, including China, Vietnam, Japan, and Eastern Europe. Now, I think we're going to see quite a bit of trade shifting as well in these negotiations away from China. So that's another area that he can attack them on, is that he can get other countries, particularly in Southeast Asia and cheaper countries, to produce goods that America really probably won't do in manufacturing, maybe like T-shirts, right? Making T-shirts or something like that, making flip-flops or something. So that's kind of the areas we're going to see moves as well. So some countries will win out of this as well. So it's not all about, America really wants to bring a lot of the heavy manufacturing in. So we're talking about ports, shipbuildings, energy, LPG, LNG, all these sort of things, stuff like that they want to bring. They want to bring in manufacturing of cars, high tech, obviously semiconductors, things like that. They want to obviously build up their chemical array as well, particularly around rare earths. That's something that's really weak for America. And of course, they've got a lot of things they want to do there. Now, the European Union is also seeking unity among the members to formulate a coordinated strategy, potentially leading to additional retaliatory tariffs. The developments have heightened fears of a global trade war and the significant implications for international commerce and economic stability. Goldman Sachs lifted on Sunday its odds of a 2025 recession to 45%. So that's kind of the highest odds so far. And of course, after hiking its recession forecast last week, this follows JP Morgan, so not Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan raising last week probably to 60% this year from 40%. So 45 and 60%, pretty high on those numbers. Investors are showing signs of extreme nervousness. Now, that will play into the Fed, right? The Fed will likely to lower interest rates and maybe start printing money. And so we'll see the M2 money supply really start to boom. And of course, that all goes into risk on, right? So you're back into crypto and stocks. Game on. We win. I think we're going to win either way. Unfortunately, in the short term, it's we get a massive correction, right? So that's kind of the play. Investors are showing signs of extreme nervousness with the the Kobe there, a volatility index, the most well-measured market sentiment surging above 60-day, the 60 intraday, which is highest level since August. So that's kind of the stuff there at the moment. Now, we did have some good news around the stock market. NVIDIA leads the rebound, so that's pretty cool. We now estimate, and of course, Tesla, they're getting pretty smashed as well. But obviously, we're pretty bullish on where Tesla's going to go in the longer term. All right, so that's kind of the stock market at the moment. Let's quickly look at the commodities as well before we move on to crypto. And we've got West Texas and Brent oil at $61, $64. They're both up 0.5 to 1%. We've got gold is at 3,000. That got really hit, which was pretty interesting the other day. And before crypto got corrected on Sunday, right? Or Sunday US time. And silver down is back up 1% as well, to almost back to $30, $29.92. So that is kind of where we are on the stock market and economic news there. Now, moving over to crypto, we got the market cap at 2.62 trillion. It is pretty much down 0.7%. So it's Thank goodness it's not gone down another 5, 10, 15%. But yesterday was so dramatic, wasn't it? We saw Bitcoin there at the moment set just under 80,000, 79,952. It got slammed yesterday, so it's only down 2.7% in the last 24. It's up 2.7% in the last 24 hours. So we're back to green candles. Thank goodness for that. But the week is down 2.9%, which isn't too bad for Bitcoin, really. ETH though got slammed, and ETH got slammed. It's up 0.4% in the last 24 hours, but it's down 13.3%. For the last 7 days, and that is sitting at $1,578. That really got slammed, and wow, it started just at first like 7-8% think, oh, it's going to stop there, and it's like 15% or something down. It was crazy numbers there. Number 4, XRP is down up 1%. Down 7% for the week. BNB up 1.4%, down 7.7% for the week. Solana at number 7 is up 2.9%, down 13% for the week as well. So pretty much the same as ETH, Solana there. But up better in the last 24 hours, 2.9%. Dodge at number 8, up 2.1%, down 8.6% for the week. And number 9, Tron, which has benefited from stablecoin minting from Tether, is down slightly today, but is down for 4.4% for the week, which makes it actually the best performer behind Bitcoin. So Tron there doing the best performer behind Bitcoin there. Cardano number 10. Up 4.8%, of course, and that is down 9.8% for the 24 hours. So that's kind of where we are with this. Let's go scroll down to what's the Pi network. It's at 59 cents, so it's down 19% for the week. Man, down 2.2% for the day. We'll see where that one goes. We're kind of following that. It's got a massive community. Can a massive community pick that up with all the development that they're doing on that as well? Don't forget to get in the chat there as well if you guys haven't checked that out. Now, some of the key things we've been putting out here is if you haven't joined the Superman's Crypto Gems on Telegram, join up to that. And, of course, all our Discord links are in the video description. Join up as a community member and or join up to our Strategy Club, which is the top-level stuff we give out. So definitely join up to that today. The link's in the video description for that. And, of course, we covered the PTGC. So if you haven't checked that out, that is the chart for the PTGC. And of course, one of the biggest community projects and successful projects on Pulse Chain, the first DAO, and of course seeded the future of printer tokens there. And that is the link there to that with the big influencer there, Prairie Banana, who breaks all it down. If you want all the tricks and whizzes there, all the secret sauce there, definitely follow Prairie Banana and get into their Telegram. Kind of cool. And, of course, if you haven't voted yet, don't go and vote for your favorite team. We got the best category winner of Emmett Farm for the farms at the moment. We've got the best DAO category there of PTC, the Grays currency. And we've got the best printer category there, a winner for Investor. So definitely get onto that as a cross-category poll. And, of course, it's kind of like who's the most engaged community out there? Can you get yourselves rallied up there? And we want to get Pulse Chain vibrant and alive, right, which is pretty awesome. And we've got some good news to talk about that coming up. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So that's kind of where we are there. Let's quickly look at the good news. Do you want it? Let's do it. All right, Richard Hart. Woohoo! Richard Hart, the founder of Pulse Chain. Man, oh man. And this is his post, but this post is different from the other posts. Let's see why it's different. And he says there's a difference between turning on tariffs because you think they are cool and turning on tariffs because you want everyone to turn all tariffs off. Donald Trump wants free trade, but needs to show everyone how unfair they've been to America to educate them. Well, that is definitely one of the key points that Trump's trying to do. But of course, all the preamble I told you earlier is a lot of other things he's showing in the strategy as well. Remember, dealing with the budget deficit, $2 trillion, dealing with the regulations in the United States, both in terms of small, medium, large business, but also with financial institutions and getting leverage out. And of course, dealing with the world order and using tariffs to do many of those three things that I just mentioned. As well as many other policies, which I could list off. But that is kind of where he's heading at the moment. Now, the big thing here, what's different about this post? What's different? What do you see? He's got the comments back on. Woo! The comments are back on, and people are loving it. Look at that. So people are just posting. You got your friend Simon, many people there, Matty Allen. Everybody is in the mix there. It is a pretty exciting day. Corey Costa, Toby Wan, many people in the community there posting. It is pretty exciting. So a lot of people are pretty happy about that. So you got to be excited. So what have we seen recently? We've seen, obviously, Richard Hart there talking about having reduced the inflation on incentive token by 20x, having reduced the inflation on HEX, cutting it down from 7.5 to 1.5 HEX per T-share on both chains. And, of course, now we've got comments off. And, of course, he's still, he won the SEC case. He's got the extension running through to the 21st of April, so that's still coming up, and it's not shy away from that. That was a 30-day extension, but they've got such a weak case. I'm not expecting much from there. And then, of course, we've got a new administration trying to get rid of all those court cases and go to simplified regulations and clarity around that, and remove lawfare. So that should play into our hands as well. And then, of course, we've seen pump tires launch, right? That's been helping a lot with securing us to some degree from mintable tokens, for example, and the exposure that we may or may not have there for particular protocols that got copied over, and also to burn a Pulse and PulseX fees, right? So it's been pretty popular from there. Some people have made really good gains on that one as well, and they've become a key category coming on Pulse Chain. Wink, wink on that one. So that is kind of some of the stuff where at the moment we've got with the community. Hey, look, we got Prairie Banana in there as well. Comments are open. Thank you, Richard Hart. Crypto Connoisseur, Crypto Coffee. Man, all the community people are out there. Amazing. They're getting there. Big Kowalski. They're all in the chat. Everyone's pretty excited about that. So pretty awesome. I'm going to post this post in the chat there if you guys want to. RH is open comments. If you guys want to make a comment there, because it's been a long time since he opened those up. Now, is he getting pretty close to doing a live stream? Is that what you're thinking? Is he pretty close? Well, here's the comments. He's still got Interpol after him. He's still got a red notice. Did I see a picture of someone with Kareem on a red notice? I don't know if that's real or not. I haven't been able to check whether that's real. Let me know in the chat if you've actually seen that. It's got Richard Hart and Kareem on the red notice. I don't know. Some people make memes all the time, right? So you just never know with this stuff. But it's like, what was it? Where was he? Down off the corals, the Florida corals there. Got in a little bit of trouble, but got out of that down there. So I don't know. But anyway, it's Cream's been a huge asset to the X community. Hey, look, I mean, everyone's always gets a little bit of trouble here and there sometimes. So that's just the way it goes. So yeah, definitely get in there, make a comment to Rich Hart. Welcome him back to the open comments. Now, is he going to do a live stream? Well, let's see what else comes out. Yeah, this could be funny now. Now, he says he's in a safe space, right? He's been planning this for years. And of course, he's got big lawyers, powerful lawyers that will be trying to get him negotiated out of that red notice, no doubt, so that he can wander free indeed, as we say. So there we go, Richard Hart there, open comments on his post. You got to love that. Now that leads us into Pulse Chain, and we got some big stuff happening on Pulse Chain today. So we're not short of pretty impressive things happening. We're 697 days since Pulse Chain launched on the 13th of May, 2023. 697 days later, we're only 3 days away from 700 days. Crazy numbers, right? Pulse at the moment is up 8.73% after yesterday's down day. I'm so happy about that. And we're at quadruple 0217, 22% of the mean sacrifice price there. PulseX at quadruple 0188, sitting at up 10.7%, sitting under 19% of the mean sacrifice price. So huge DCA area here for Pulse Chain. And the burn there, 1.36 trillion PulseX is being bought up and burned. And like I say, pump tires has definitely helped to energize some of that. Incentive token, inflation cut 20x. We're at $1.12. That's up 7.3%. And the supply there only at 55 million approximately, although it never seems to update. So I have to go check the blockchain on that. But we've got Hex at the moment is just under half a penny on Pulse Chain, up 10.4%. And EHEX there at 14 hundredths of a penny. We're combined price of EHEX and PX at 63 hundredths of a penny there. Super cheap. And what a great pickup there. All right, we've got gas prices. 3.3 million beats, 3 cents for a PulseX swap. That's how we're going. And looking at the validators. And I'm going to do a video on the validators coming up. So they've got so many protocols at the moment that you can, stake Pulse and earn. I want to go through a lot of those protocols. I think that's a really great topic. So we're going to get into that. Validator X, for example, from Halted, many other projects out there that are launching. VPLS, there's heaps of them now. And they offer some pretty high yield. And of course, if we get Pulse on the upward side, right? So remember, with these incentives, with the inflation going down for incentive token and of course for Hex, it thinned out the liquidity pools in the farms, right? And so we've got about 26 million. I think yesterday when I counted the numbers, 26 million in there. It means that the price can go up real super fast and down real super fast. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. And now we've got open comments. I don't know, it's sort of stacking itself together and all these signals, isn't it? So let's keep a lookout for this. Victory. And of course, Richard there out to win. Now, it's going to be fun to see this play out. And so, yeah, DCA at the bottom, accumulate is what I would say. Once again, not investment advice to your own due diligence, but you guys get the picture. We got sitting at $79.3 million on the bridge. We got DAI is definitely down as EDI, down to 23.4 million, so it's gone down a bit from yesterday. So we'll have to do a bit of work getting that back up. USDC sitting at 15.7 million. USDT sitting at 5.8 million. And at the moment, of course, we had a bit of a bounce on the ETH price and the wrap Bitcoin there, both up today, and EHEX up slightly as well. But here's the big mover. Can you guys see what's different about this page? What is different about this page on the bridge? What is it? Well, you guys know, man. Look at it, man. It is the coast. The coast has gone up. Whoa! Big shout out to the coast team. These guys are professional, man. I love these professional teams. And man, it just lifts the whole pulse stream when you got professional teams running, and that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to lift the excitement, because we really want pulse stream people to be excited, because we've been hit by like 20 black swan events, 10 gray swan events, and it's time to have our shine. We got Richard opening up comments today, so we're slowly getting there. We got SEC victories. Everything is slowly getting there, and you guys know when it's going to run later on. It may not be until May, June. But man, when things going to run, it's going to run hard, man. Just like it's gone down pretty hard, it's going to run hard to the upside. So it's just about holding on. It's like a marathon, not a sprint, right? It's a marathon, not a sprint there. So we got 9.4 million. It's gone up by $200,000. That's since yesterday from the looks of it. So that's huge. And let's see where Coast can take it. And of course, that's why we're very excited about stable coins as well. And as you guys know, we've got 4 liquidity forks at the moment: USDL, PXDC, HXDC, and of course the ink printer token there from Fast Abdul. And then we've got Coast here as well, sitting backed by fiat currency there, looking pretty good, up 9.4 million. So that's new capital coming into Pulse Chain, very bullish. And of course, as you guys know, we're going to get that third model, PUSD ALGO. That's what I'm looking forward to. And that's going to be huge. Our first algorithm coin, maybe the holy grail of stable coins in crypto, not just on Pulse Chain. So very, very excited about that. Wookie said it's time to shine Pulse Chain 100% there. And of course, it's all about the communities getting out there, really getting excited and starting to inch our way back. All right. So, and looking at a lot more quality projects as well. So that's kind of where we are on goalposts. Let's have a look at the charts on Pulse Chain. This is the 4-hourly chart. So we're just below the 200 moving average on so 4 hours is kind of the trader's view of a chart. And we've got, it's just sitting below the 200 day at the moment. So if we get over that, that's a very bullish sign. We have been over it a couple of times, but getting over that's pretty important. And also getting the 200 day moving upwards as well. And then we get into a bit of a golden cross when the yellow line covers the orange line, which is the 200 day moving average, right, for the 4 hourly. We've got the RSI there bouncing off the bottom. We're sitting around 50. We haven't really seen it get much above 60, so be careful out there. But if we can get enough momentum, we can really start getting one of those big rallies and start pumping up into, towards the 70 mark. The last time we did that was March the 1st, and you can see that big pump we had there. And we came right off the bottom, too, of 30 there on the RSI. So we'll keep a check out for that. Now, on the daily, on the chart here, we have, managed to bounce off around about this quadruple zero 1700 mark here. We're back up at quadruple zero 2180. We had a very good price movement here. This was really bullish. Obviously, we had a big event with the markets down yesterday, so it creates a bit of a hyper move down. But we actually technically have a higher low here, which is at 1850. So this one here was at 1650, so 1850, and maybe we can start printing that zigzag back up, right? Very, very important there. But we've got a long way to go until we start, challenging some of these previous highs here. You got 3,200, and then I would argue you've got somewhere between 42 and 4,500. Those kind of the marks there. You can see we previously had support at some of these areas here. So we've still got that to play, but so far looking pretty good. As you guys know, the liquidity's been thinned out, right? So it's a much easier to move up here faster once we get a bit of momentum. But whether that's going to be this week's still the period of volatility, right? So it could be we have to wait till May, June while this tariff stuff's all settling out. But we are probably going to get some wins, and that always moves markets up. But we're going to have volatility because obviously there's a lot of negotiations. You've got 50, 60 countries you're talking to, and Treasury there, Secretary said that he was talking about May, June today in a live stream. Interview that he had on Fox News. So we'll see how that goes there at the moment. But so far, pretty good. And it looks like we've got Richard back on the deck to some degree with open comments. So a bit of leadership coming back in from the founder as well. It does pretty wonders there. So it's pretty cool. Now, let's get to the overall market. We've got, at the moment, 27.7 million in daily volume. And we've got some new tokens. Do you see them? They're pumping their teddy bear at the moment. This is the new teddy bear. This is from, you guessed it, I've got to bring the name up. I've got to bring it up. This is from, not only does MoonKing love PTGC the Greys, but he loves, not only does he love this, but he loves launching a new token here. Now, as you guys know, there was a lot of fallout with James Maria and the Atropa ecosystem, live stream dumping and bridging of ETH over it, all that sort of stuff, because of, he argues, the exploit. But of course, we also have a lot more conspiracy around that with Mr. Dong and the association mentioned there from James Maria back on a video, all that good stuff back at the day at the beginning of Pulse Chain with the PDI, setting up PDI contracts. So, you know, it's lots of theories going out there. Is he playing both sides? Is he truly a victim? And he dumped on the community? Is he going to do something new in the future? There's all these different positions you can have on that topic. And so that's kind of where we are. But regardless of all that, MoonKing here has decided to do his own thing here. And of course, he's launched his own teddy bear. So he's relaunched the teddy bear. So this is brand new. This is a pump tires one. So this is off Richard Hart, right? Pump tires. And he has launched this, and it's only been going for a couple hours. So we're going to have a look at this. So let's jump up here and look at this. So this is one here. I think this is the first one here. The new teddy bear. This is 4 hours ago. I think it's pretty much when it launched. Teddy bear was the #1 meme coin on Pulse Chain, but now that we see Maria 414 bear dev true colors, it should no longer be supported in his opinion. So this is his opinion, not mine. Imagine setting newbies up coming into Pulse Chain after scamming the community and showing his true intentions in Pulse Chain. Looks like the community has decided to take this into his own hands. Can't believe I'm saying this, but I full support Pulse Chain first narrative CTO. Why stick with Maria and his scamming ecosystem? You know, Teddy Bear is such a great meme. The artwork's fantastic. I've always been very impressed by it. Why go to bed not knowing whether you are going to wake up to a rug pull? And of course, Teddy Bear is one of the best narratives on Pulse Chain, and is backed on Pump Tires. So they've launched this again, Teddy Bears on Pump Tires. It's only been around for about 4 hours. Who knows? I mean, it's already done massive gains. You know how high this thing will go. It's still got a relatively low market cap if it's going to do anything like the original Teddy Bear has done, which is still trading, obviously, and been doing pretty well the last little wee while on Pulse Chain. And of course, we've got no games, no scams, no minting of insert random coin here and selling it against beer. No, it's no encrypted web BS, just gains, gatekeeping Maria to the fullest. If you despise Atropa, if you despise Maria, if you despise PDI, come support Teddy Bear Takeover here. So that's from him. Like, retweet, bull comment, all Teddy Bear Takeover posts. Time to take Teddy Bear back, and that's the contract there. Ends in 79.74 there. So I will post the link to this if you guys want to check it out. Obviously, not financial advice from me, but hey, look, let's look at the chart. We're going to look at the chart and see how it's performing. This is the new teddy bear here. Teddy bear here from MoonKing, one of the, pretty much the biggest Pulse Chain influencers I know on X. Teddy bear. Let me see here. Let me post that. That's the chart there in case you want to check it out. And bam! But this is the first of two. This is the first of two influencers that have launched tokens today. We're going to talk about the second one as well. That is Teddy Bear there. You can check it out in your own time. Now, let's have a look at the chart. So we're going to go to Teddy Bear here. The current market cap is 3.8 million. Liquidity is 120K. And it's currently up 34,750%. So if you're lucky enough to get on Pump Tires, I don't know how quick it went, but it probably went pretty quick. Then yeah, that's what people are looking out for. That's why people look at the Pump Tires. It's a pretty soul destroying thing in some cases. Depends on how much you're looking at it. But hey, look, it's up massive. You can occasionally get one of these big influencers launching coins, the big project teams launching coins on Pump Tires. And this has only been around for 6 hours, and it seems to be still going up here. So let's have a look at this chart and check it out. So that is the chart right now, and the market cap is 3.8 million. So let's see what that could do. Pretty impressive. And of course, there are 1,347 makers and so on. The buy volume there for the last 6 hours, only been around 6 hours, is 3,700 buys, 2,200 sells. Obviously, the early people that get in the Pump Tires, they can dump on you. So remember that you are transferring wealth from one person to another through the pulls. And of course, you're hoping that more people come in and pump the thing. It's all the logic. So yeah, buy volume 616K, sell volume 563K. So because there's a net difference there, it's still going up, right? That's 6 hourly there. There's not much difference between those two ones there. Kind of cool. So almost 1,000 buyers and almost 700 sellers there. That is where we are at the moment. Volume, look at that, 1.1 million. Liquidity, 100,000. So it's almost a 10x, not quite 9x there on that. And obviously, there's always on these Pump Tires, there's only 1 billion tokens. There seems to be about 15 million in the pool at the moment. and of course you can see a lot of red candles. People may or may not like this token or MoonKing doing it or whatever. Teddy is all about paying homage to the endearing Bitcoin bear from Rich Art's live streams. Many consider Teddy Bear the mascot of Pulse Chain. After a rocky past, we are taking over the rumbling roar, free from bad actors and shady mint functions. They're officially deployed on pump tires. When you get projects like this performing on pump tires, you're just adding more value to that, because a lot of stuff on pump tires is not worth anything, right? That doesn't migrate from pump tires over to PulseX because it just doesn't get to that, king of the hill. And I think it's like 30K or something it has to get to over there, and this doesn't make it. When big influencers come in and push it over, they normally do pretty well. So this is a Teddy Bear there, and then of course the artwork is fantastic, right? So let's go back and look at artwork. You can't not love that, right? That's pretty cute, and definitely the movies, right? Ted 1, Ted 2, was it? Pretty awesome movie. All right, so that's kind of where we are at the moment, and look at the other token at the top. Let's look at that token. Can you guys see it? P-Die, it's called Good Die, and this is from Maddie Allen, of course, another massive influencer who runs all the Pulse Chain Hex conferences, and it is up 2,900%. 15 hours this has been going for, and is it pegged to $1? Is it pegged to $1? Is it the real P-Die? Well, here is the pictures here. So believe in something, and what is that? Is this Somi? Is that supposed to be Somi? I think it is. But there's no pegs. There's no pegs. Is it Somi? I guess it is, but there's no pegs. And then Maddie's there. New P-Die comes back. Now, if you guys have been seeing the dialogue between these two, it's been pretty hilarious, and it makes good entertainment in the old Pulse Chain, right? I mean, are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? That's kind of like that. So it's going pretty well there from Maddie Allen. I gotta love this stuff. So it's just the way it goes. People seem to like this stuff. Now, obviously, let's look at the hourly chart. There you can see the chart at the moment. Let's look at the hourly chart, and you can see it there. That is where pretty much it's a little bit different here. And let's see if it can actually break back up, right? Curl back up there. Now, it did peg to $1. So let's be fair. It was pegged to $1 for a moment. Let's have a look. Where's the peg? It's about there. That's about the peg line to $1 there. So P-Die, it's not P-Die, but it's Good Die. Apparently Good Die. It's still got P-Die name, but it's Good Die. And it's pegged at $1. That's $1 there, that line. And let's see what happens. It's at 94 cents. You gotta laugh at yourself with some of these things, honestly. But this is where it's at the moment. Now the market cap's still pretty low, 1.8 million, and the liquidity 61K. The yield, it's down 50% in the last 6 hours. Take note of that. It's got 132 buys, so way less buyers at the moment on this. 54 sales, but it could pick up, right? Could pick up. Now, obviously, it's controversial. There's a lot of controversial stuff around this. I won't get into all that. Buy volume 5,000, sell volume 8,000. So very different metrics from the Teddy Bear one. And of course, the influence not quite as large as well, but still pretty interesting. 13K volume. So the other one had 1.1 million. This has got 13K. So and 112 makers. So very different environments here. So just remember that you have to do due diligence. It's got a lot of red flags on there. There is obviously a massive Somi P-Die community. And of course you got the MoonKing out there doing his thing. It is crazy stuff over here amongst the big influencers on Pulse Chain. Just the way it goes, but it makes for fun, right? It's a bit of fun. Just don't get too serious about crypto, and enjoy the humor, I guess, is the way to go there as well. Now, that said, always take good risk management and buy low and sell high. I mean, there's some basic principles, right? Let's remember that. All right, so that's kind of where we are at the moment. What else can I say about this? Let's jump into here. I think this is pretty much a pump ties as well. I haven't actually looked to see, but I think it is. Let's see if we've got this contract up on the Block Explorer. Now, we're going to be covering Midgard Block Explorer. This thing looks like it's going to be the holy grail of Block Explorers. Oh, yeah, I've got a coverage there. I can't see that, so I'll have to fix that. I have to take off my security on that one. But that's kind of where we are at the moment. So, let's see. I think it's got 1 billion tokens. You can check on the blockchain, but I think this is a pump ties. I'm not sure if he's done a separate contract or not. P-Die Classic was the copied version of DAI on Pulse Chain. After broken P-Die got exploited via MakerDAO contracts, it caused trouble on Pulse Chain. So a sacrifice and airdrop were created. So I think this may not be a pump ties, maybe it's some contract. You have to double check. Just haven't had time to check that. So sacrifice and airdrop were created. Yeah, it looks like it possibly is a separate type, a different pump ties contract. P-Die Classic had done 555,555X returns and created an immense community. This version of P-Die honors the brilliant paradox of speculation and stable coin, but removes the inflation bug. A Good Die is designed to do 10,000X to $300. No financial advice, no expectations. Good Die, PDI has the potential to be the most powerful first cycle unicorn narrative has. Maybe someday everyone will even fork liquidity, so whales can basically make a market to use gold, a good Die there as collateral for minting its own decentralized stablecoin. Another cool feature involves PDI's deep integration with Time Pays Me self custody Time Wallet Vault. Sorry, that's something he did with Pulse Chain tokens there. So that is from Maddie Allen. They have their own X account as well. So if you guys want to check that out, you can. And, go do due diligence on that one. But that is Good Die. And I know that there's going to be different camps out there in crypto and different opinions on that one. But that is where we are. So kind of neat. Let's see where it all lands there. Now, let's see if I think we've got a little post here from Maddie Allen. So let me just pull this up. I had to close all this down because I had run out of disk space and rain fade or something. But let's pull this up. I think I've still got these posts here somewhere. Let's see. I think I've got it in here. Let me pull it up. Oh, we got too much stuff in there. Let's hide that one there. And let's see if I can find it over here on Matty Allen. Matty Allen. There he goes. And let's quickly look at that. And where are we here? So we got 13 hours ago. He had the Justin. It appears the airdrop has happened to a sacrifice set that looks much like I proposed. Free coins, right? I spent several hours verifying this setup to my satisfaction. He's got the contract there. He's got the verified there. Only 2 million PDI were airdropped to circulating. So there we go. 12% to an address that appears to be a liquidity fixer bot. So he's got lots of details in there. So LP can't be rugged by anybody. All that good stuff in there. So nobody knows that the PulseX SAC address will ever buy back tokens with the PulseX SAC because it was a real SAC and you signed the blockchain. Appears that Maddie token OA address has helped out with the burnish liquidity. Price discovery there as well for Good Die. PDI will be especially pronounced. Let's have a look there. People love the competitor. The additional supply, 55 billion PDI, was sent to the PulseX OA Time Wallet Vault. So it's definitely not a pump tires project. It's their own contract they've set up. The market has 7 days to act before these coins could ever come to market. Lots more game theory to cover in the future. The most important question people ask is how do I access the airdrop and so forth. So that's kind of the post there from him. I'm going to post it in the chat if you guys want to check that out as well. And get into that one. So that is from Maddie Allen. Welcome, Maddie Allen. Big shout out there. All right, so that's kind of cool. That is Maddie Allen there, and he's got lots more posts, I think, that he's posted around that. So let's have a quick look at some of these. The new PDI Coexistent 7, another YouTuber out there. The new PDI is almost at $1. So there we go. And he's got a cool comment around that. RH turns on comments the same day new PDI launches. What do you think it means? There's conspiracy theories out there. What else we got there? We got a few others in the house there. Let's see here. Maddie Allen just going to leave this here. Which will have the highest price a week from now. A PDI airdrop, PDI Classic or Pump Die. It's pretty interesting. A PDI breaks $3.69 before I get to take a nap. And it's time to start asking whether $200 PDI is enough to retire somebody. So there's a couple of comments there from him. Yeah, it got pretty high in the price, didn't it? It got pretty high. So it actually peaked out at the moment. It peaked out at the beginning on hour 4, got up to $2.36. That's kind of the mark there at the moment. And the market cap currently at 1.9 million. So there we go, folks. That is the 2 big launches, 2 big influences. Yeah, it's going to be fun to see. Both controversial. One sort of copying the PDI narrative, taking a bit of the market there. The other one, a new teddy bear. So pretty crazy stuff there. Now let's have a look at some of the other things that are going on here. We've got big bonus coin here from 9inch. That is up 52% today. So nice big move there for the 9inch. And I think this one is the original. So it's the original token. No pump ties. You got to be careful with the pump ties. You know, they will pop up all over the place. People are doing tokens like that. But big pump in the last few hours on the BBC. Look at that, up to 1.4 cents. Wow, it was below 1 cent there. It was at 8,700 a penny. That is a pretty mad gain there, 53%. Not bad. So something's going on there. Who is pumping money into that? Now, you've got to remember the 9inch had, what was it, $16 million in the sacrifice? Maybe a bit of that money's coming in, and you can decide. The conspiracies out there are crazy. Beast token, of course, one of the big printed tokens, doing very well, back up 26%. So that's really exciting to see that pumping. Look at that. Boom, boom, boom. That up chart there from Beast is a beast mode. And this is one of the projects that are on our Loopman Crypto Gems, right? So you definitely got to join up. It's free. It's free list. So join up Telegram and get in there. Now, when you get into the gems list there, type /link and you get your own referral code and invite other people into our alpha list as well. We are pretty much curating that list. We're going to be going through it again today. So definitely want to get on that. It is free. Costs you nothing in that one. And pretty cool. So kind of cool. Yep. Let's check that out. So that is looking pretty good. 1584. It's paying you. And of course, you remember the rewards you get. You get rewards in Pulse. You get rewards in remember Missile and gas money, and they're all paying you too. So it's a pretty win-win there. Now the volume's holding up very well. Look at this volume in here. Very, very cool. $1.4 million in the last day. Pretty awesome. 1.5 million the day before, and a massive 1.75 million the day before that. And it's currently running at 338K at the moment. So, and that's off a low day from the trauma that we had in the markets yesterday. So pretty cool. PTC the Grey, we just talked about that. That is humming as well, up 25%. So it's on the leaderboard here in the top 10. Well done to the Greys. And of course, what else we got going here? UFO, the child, as I call it, is up 22%. So these are dominating, as we say. The Pulse chain, we've got Pump Ties dominating. We've got the printer tokens dominating with the DAO tokens / printer Genesis there going as well. 9inch is up. So BBC is up, right? That's the incentive token on 9inch. That is up as well. And that's up 18% there. So 9inch finally getting pumped here. What is causing that? And of course, we don't have big volume coming in on 9inch, but we're getting a big move in price here on the weekly. This is the weekly chart for 9inch. So it's coming off the bottom there. So that could be a pretty good play. Now, previously in previous bull markets, you would have that big move and away you would go. You'd make pretty mad gains on DEXs, right? So we'll probably see the same thing once enough confidence comes back in the market. Hearts Treasury is doing well, up 15%. So it's not bad. And let's see where the volume prices got traded down in the last hour, but it was actually rallying up to the last hour there. Still holding up pretty well. Still up 15%, but down 18% in the last hour there. And that is still doing pretty well. You can check that out as well on the old Treasury. And I think we've got a little explainer there. Hearts Treasury is going to revolutionize you earn Hex. So that's kind of where there you can earn from 1% to 100% daily ROI and dual yield from both EHEX and PHEX without staking or time locking your tokens. And we saw Hex was up over 10% today. So a nice little rally on the back of that, no doubt. Treasury has a reserve that receives 1% of all Pulse from transactions, which it can use to buy and burn Treasury tokens, add liquidity, and expand the LP web, just like PTGC there. So there we go. A distant cousin. It's kind of play. So we also got Finvesta. Of course, we covered that as well. The Finvesta ecosystem is kind of the grandfather of all the printer tokens. And of course, OG Web Chef, they're crushing it out there at the moment. That's up 13% as well, doing pretty well. So kind of cool. And that is getting a big pump today up to $27. Not bad, and is up 39%. So we've got some of these cool ecosystems at the moment. So we've got the DAO tokens going. We've got some of the meme tokens of Pump Ties going. We've got memes on PDI. We've got the printer tokens all going off there from Finvesta. We've got the Richard Hart tokens moving up and dominating as well. You can see Hex as well is moving up on there as well. So it's kind of cool. Dominance token, another printer token. Loan token there. Oh, interesting. We've got Liquid Loans on the move up 11%. Not bad as well. And let's have a look at that. So loans there is doing pretty well. Let's have a look at this off the bottom. Very low volumes, but is up 11% there at the moment. And of course, that had over $50 million, about $52 million from memory, go into that project. So, show me the money, you might say. Show me the money. On the, what's the other one? On 9inch, show me the money. You can decide. So we'll bring up old wounds there, bring up old dramas. That's kind of play. Incentive token up as well, 8.5%. So you can kind of see the dominators. Now, big shout out to Dipcatcher and Goldkey. These guys during the bear market, right? The Dipcatcher, Goldkey, and of course with the Maximus crew, they also bought on the Gophers, right? Gophers was really, really successful. And of course, it was the first ERC 404 contract on Pulse Chain. So big shout out to them. I really do appreciate it. I love their honesty and their opinions. They're super smart guys. And pretty exciting. And during the bear market, they really held things together on Pulse Chain. And of course, obviously, we're pretty down now, but they're really, really amazing with their products around Hex and other things. So all the derivatives that they did. The other one, of course, Alex McFurter. He's another big shout out to him as well. I think it was something like 2 billion Hex was going through their protocols just between those two developer teams. So big shout out to them as well. So not bad. That's kind of where we are there with all the things. So not bad. That's we're back on the move. Pulse Chain's back on the move and Richard Hart is around. What's that going to do? More people find out Richard Hart is on deck with his comments open. And maybe we might get a surprise live stream from, I don't know, from a yacht somewhere. I don't know. Who knows where he is? But you can decide, maybe still in Eastern Europe. Some people say he's in Russia. Some people say he's in Russia there. Who knows? We will find out in due course. And that's kind of where we are. So, yeah, we've got, about 2 weeks? What's that? 12, 13, just under 2 weeks away from the SEC. So 21st, I think, is the date. That's 30 days extension, if I'm right. And so, yeah, that's coming up. So we're going to see how that plays out too. And maybe Richard Hart's leadership coming on board is going to be a pretty big deal. Now, I was going to talk about a few other topics, but because I had such a rough start with the first live stream, I'm going to miss out on those. I did have some really cool alpha drops there, but we're going to leave that for the time being. I'm just going through some of these things just to make sure. But that is kind of where we are at the moment on that. So, yeah, wow. PTGC the Greys, we covered that. Alpha Project. And, of course, don't forget to get into the poll on that. We had a big poll going at the moment. You definitely don't want to miss that. And that poll is on at the moment. So let's see where we get to. We're about halfway through. And we've got 291 votes. We've got 1,400 views on that or more. And get out there and vote. And, of course, that's in the chat there at the moment. So get on that one. And let's see who wins there. Now, this is cross-category, right? There's all the better performers in the other polls we did. And now we've pulled them all together. And so we've got the best Emmett farm, which is dominating Pulse Chain at the moment with the highest yields. We've got the PTC, the Greys, the first DAO and genesis of printer tokens in many ways. And now we've got the Finvestor ecosystem, the best printer ecosystem out there. We did a poll on there by OG WebChef there. And now we've got them all up against each other. Which communities are going to win this? Now, we've still got a day and a half left to go. So, you just never know what comes in, right? That rush at the end. Let's see where it goes there. So get your vote in. And we're going to be having a lot of fun with this. Now, after this, of course, tomorrow, we got the big show there with Mafia, right? We've got the big show with Mafia. That's coming up. So that is the biggest GameFi on Pulse Chain. That is the number one metaverse. It's the only metaverse on Pulse Chain, and it's the number one NFT marketplace as well. It's a game under development. It's got a lot of balancing going on to get the game right as well. And then, we're going to be doing that with Cold DeFi, who's doing amazing stuff out there. Big shout out to him. And we're going to have that show tomorrow, so don't miss that. That is going to be pretty awesome. The other thing, of course, we know I did the top 5 yesterday, and one of those projects was X Game. That's another set of tokens to look out for from Firewell, and, of course, a friend of Randy Alaski's, another big influencer in the space. And, of course, there's No Permissions group. If you haven't checked that out, it's pretty amazing too. And that's going to be pretty exciting. They could get their casino license, be one of the few crypto projects in the world with casino licenses coming. And, of course, they're going to be dropping on Pulse Chain and Base Chain. That could be a killer app. They're going to have a big 30% referral there. That means that anybody could use that. And, of course, people play it, and you're going to get a big cut out of that. So you're going to see that could be a killer app on Pulse Chain, because naturally all the influencers probably going to jump on that. All the community people that are on X or whatever platform are going to be able to send that around. And, of course, people are going to love playing that Crash game, right? It's one of the most popular games on Betfury and other casino sites in the world. But they're all centralized. This is going to be decentralized, which is pretty exciting. Of course, we know Jacob, who does Mafia, Pulse Mafia, also does crypto casinos like Pulse Pop. So that's going to be exciting as well. And, of course, apparently he's going to come out with slots at some stage, which are video slots. So that could be massive there too. We're waiting for big stuff there. So very exciting place on Pulse Chain at the moment. MoonKing launching, him or his friends launching the old teddy bear there. And now we've also got Maddie Allen with the good die. We're going to see how that goes. That's going to fix in the mix as well. And we've still got people out there on the PDI Maker Theory pushing that through, looking for the old flop auctions to finally kick in. Can they take over the Maker contract? All that sort of stuff. There's so many things there. Can they get oracles? Can they replay? Can they fork it? I mean, there's so many things out there now. And, of course, we are focused on the excitement of all these big protocols that are doing really well, all these big communities, which are very, very exciting. So expect that for more. So tomorrow, the big Mafia show. Big shout out to Jacob. Big shout out to Colt DeFi. We're going to be covering that. We'll probably do a little bit of coverage on PUSD ALGO as well. That big super duper algorithmic stablecoin that could be the holy grail. And, of course, we're going to be also the next day. I've got another big stream planned. Don't miss that. That's another whole category we have not really covered in full, but we're going to cover that in full. That's coming up in 2 days' time. So don't miss that con as well. Now, if you're loving this, of course, over on Rumble, smash the follow button, repost, hit the like button, and of course, I'll leave as many links as I can in the chats here, in the comment section. If you're on YouTube, definitely smash the subscribe button, hit the bell, share the channel around amongst your communities. We're looking to a really, really exciting future with Pulse Chain, and we will not be kept down. We will rise out of the ashes like a phoenix in the night, and it's going to be pretty awesome. The other thing, of course, is check out over on X. Follow me on X. I have had to rebuild my community there. So we're starting from scratch, and you guys can really help play that out, share it around as well. Now, you're probably seeing me around a lot more over on Telegram. So I'm really starting to spread my wings there as well, get into really good groups there and participate and support as well. The big part of that. So you'll see me around there too. Big shout out to people in my team as well. My head community leaders, Wookie, Brian, of course, Brian there doing amazing stuff. And of course, a big shout out to the rest of my moderators. And of course, Brennan, many others out there, Jenny. We've got so many good moderators in our group. And of course, a big shout out also to MBS, who's just crushing it out there and as well in our team. So pretty exciting stuff ahead for us. We're really trying to help a lot of people in Pulse Chain. We're trying to match up the small, medium teams to the people and get good value for both, a win-win situation. So you're going to see a lot more from us. And of course, we love covering the big teams because they're good examples of where Pulse Chain can go, right? The more we get better teams, better communities, and they're all innovating, right? It's the better Pulse Chain will be, and we'll all be better off ultimately. So it's going to be a fun ride. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next show. Take care, everybody. Catch me for tomorrow. Pulse Mafia is going to be on the show with Cult DeFi. Don't want to miss that. Take care, everybody, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Bye for now. Woohoo! I'm still here. What am I doing? I can't get off. The aliens have got me. I don't know what that is. No, I'm still here. I'm still here. What happened? I'm still here. I can't get out. I can't get out. The aliens have got me. The aliens have got me. Oh no. Oh no. Help. 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 It's bad. It's bad. I can't get out. I've been kidnapped. I've been kidnapped. Let me go. Let me go. I gotta be free. 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 Help. Help. Help.